Hi guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be basically focusing on writing and my Hobonichi, or Hobonichis really. So my last video, I think, I'm pretty sure it was where I was like introducing you to the Hobonichi that I have for 2025, just kind of like unboxing and going through it all. So I'm going to show you what I've done with that so far, and then that's where this kind of like plays into it too. You'll notice that I've got a bunch of like random papers here with random fonts. So since I've been spending more time on the planners and it hasn't been like as much stream of conscious and just kind of like chicken scratching stuff out, I've actually been trying to be more intentional with my writing and really enjoying like the aesthetic portion of it. I decided that I wanted to learn a new font for like my journaling and stuff. So when I was a kid, probably every couple of months, at least once a year, I would just like practice over and over and over my writing. I would change how I did my A's. I would change how I did my uppercase ones. I would change how I did my I's. Like you'll notice in a lot of my stuff, I put little X's over my eyes. I've been doing that since I was 13, and after doing like all this practice, I think I'm gonna retire it. So again, every couple months, every year or so, I used to kind of change or practice like how I was doing my writing. So I decided I wanted to do that again, and basically I spent, it's probably like an hour and a half going through the actual like Word program to see what fonts I kind of liked out of that. So I narrowed it down to 3 little pages of that. So I chose the ones that kind of like screamed to my soul the most from like the Instagram accounts that I've been really, really inspired by, and like the other YouTube accounts that I've been really inspired by, the people that have the gorgeous writing. I wanted to try out Copperplate Light because I thought that one was kind of cool. I wanted to try out Grotesque Light, Optima Regular, Sego UI Light, and the Apple SD Gothic Thin. And I won't like, maybe I will list all the different ones quickly going through here. So basically what I did was I had like a template that I created. I decided I wanted to have whatever the name of the writing was. So like again, Copperplate Light for this one. I did every letter of the alphabet. So I did all uppercase with space beside them so that I could practice, and then all of the lowercase, and then obviously 1 through 0 for the numbers. I wanted to be able to practice that. And then my mom taught me this word the other day, actually, pangram. So it's basically when you have a sentence that uses every letter in the alphabet. And I don't even think I realized that was the thing. Like I always see the quick brown fox jumps over a lazy dog. I just thought that was like a universal sentence that people just wrote for the sake of writing it. I didn't ever clue in, or I don't remember ever knowing that it was because it was using every letter of the alphabet. So I Googled a bunch of pangrams, and these were the ones that I liked the best. So I did the first 3. It's kind of easier to see when it's like a font that's not all caps, but the first 3 that I did were in lowercase because I wanted to practice how the lowercase letters looked. And then the last 3 were uppercase because I wanted to obviously practice the uppercase. And I basically just like copied, changed the font, moved on to the next one, pasted, and then copied, changed the font, move on to the next one. So the first couple pages, again, these ones came from the actual Word program. These are the ones that I wanted to try out. I didn't love most of them, and I think this is why this was like a really good exercise for me to do too, is I like the look of them when you're typing something. I didn't like the look of it in my writing. It just didn't kind of make sense. Like it didn't feel like my style, if that makes sense. So again, I tried out the Copperplate. Didn't even make it to the lower part of it. Just didn't really love that. These pages I just kind of wanted to run through quickly to see what I liked. The Grotesque Light, same thing. It was just kind of for me. Didn't love it. Optima Regular, I liked that one I think a little bit better. You'll notice my new font, the one that I've kind of like made a conglomeration of a couple of them. I love that style of G, and I don't remember that one from when I was a kid. I don't think I ever did that one. So anyway, there's a couple that I kind of like drew inspiration from. The Sego UI Light, I like how rounded everything was, and I liked how it looked in the sentences. Apple SD Gothic Thin, it was okay, not a bad one. These ones all came from Canva. So I do have Canva Premium, and it comes in handy for like YouTube, obviously doing the thumbnails and stuff, but I actually use it for a bunch of artsy stuff. So if you don't have Canva, they have like free Canva, which is honestly really good too. Worth taking a look, but a bunch of these fonts are actually part of like the Canva Premium. So I did the Verdana Pro Condensed. I thought that one was kind of nice. I did San Diego, and that was one that like screamed my soul because it was all these like very funky uppercase letters. And then, yeah, I liked how they looked in the sentences too. And so again, some of them just didn't even have lowercase. It's all uppercase. Parandori. That was one that when I was like Googling fun fonts or condensed fonts or whatever, this one came up. And so I was just like, oh, I definitely want to try this one. I think this one would look really good with like a brush pen, or if you have a fountain pen with like a super flexible nib or whatever it is that can do that. But I tried it. It was okay. Didn't make my list. The Donau, again, probably butchering these. The Donau, I loved. This is now my new fun uppercase that you will see. So I tried that one out. I liked the letters. I liked the numbers. Tabera round. This is another winner. I love this one. And again, just for how like round and pleasing the letters are for me to look at. Quicksand, I think I found that one similar to a bunch of other ones. I liked that one as well. The Breaks was a really, really funky one. So I actually really, really liked that there's a couple letters that had the constant like long line on it. Didn't end up loving it enough to make it my own. The Catchy Major, whatever. The catchy one, I really liked this one too. And again, this is one that I think would work really, really well with a brush pen. I do practice it in my book, so you will see that. Pangram, and how funny that I just learned what pangram was and then just happen to have pangrams for the fonts. This one I love as well. So this is another one that I kind of took in to my conglomeration. Oxford, I like this one for all uppercases. It's just very like classic looking, very clean. Gilroy, I liked the look of, and again, I was kind of like, the ones that I was printing off were ones that I liked the look of in the preview, basically. So I liked the look of it on paper, just didn't necessarily love them all when I started to try to do them. Mac, I really like. I think this was one of the premiums too, but like I just loved how it looked in the sentences. I really like some of the lettering. Again, I'm really drawn towards like the round letters right now. This one is Q Black Gold Display, and my printer isn't bad. That's literally what the font looks like. So I just didn't love that one as much because it just looks very patchy. Like now that I have it like printed out and I started looking at it and trying to do the letters, it just wasn't my jam. But Reborn I thought was very funky too, because the way that Reborn worked, you'll notice a lot of them, if it's all uppercase, I removed the lowercase because obviously I don't need to have like doubles of it. But for this one, I noticed that there are certain lowercase letters that were the small ones, and then the other ones were like the same size as the upper. And they actually changed like the Q. The Q is different, so you know it's lowercase because it's got that kind of swoop versus just that little like tick for the uppercase. The A goes small, so you'll see it better with like the sentences here. But I just thought that was very cool. Like I loved the look of that. I might practice that one later on. So like once I start getting more consistent and I get a little bit better and I just have the time and energy for it, then I might try to get better at that one. So Reborn was kind of cool. Black Mango I thought was, again, another funky one. This would be like a really nice one for a brush pen. But yeah, I just kind of liked how it looked and sort of like the rounded ends and stuff. So those were all the fonts that I liked the look of that I wanted to practice. So I printed them off. I practiced them all. I checked on some YouTube videos in the background and literally just spent hours doing my fonts. So once I had those ones narrowed down and I decided what ones I liked, I started writing them out in my 2024 Hobonichi, the one that we all know basically just keeps taking like the back burner for everything. So let me find where did I start? Oh, I think I put them in a little tab here. Okay. So again, I kind of like randomly have been using this one to practice with different pens or to try to get into the habit of writing things. I've started practicing my brush lettering in this one as well. So this is where I'm using the Tombow. I have it written down in here. Hold on. Oh, hard tip, soft tip. Yes, I was trying to figure out the difference between like the hard tip, which I have all the colors in, and a black, and then what it looked like with the soft tip for the Tombow as well. So yeah, I want to practice doing the brush lettering. You'll see that in my regular planner when I do an update on that one, probably towards the end of the week. And then this is where I decided I wanted to take the the fonts that I actually really liked and to try them out here. So I used my Pigma Micron 1. I did upper and lowercase for those. I wrote out what it was, and then again, just practiced the whole alphabet with upper and lower next to each other, the numbers, and then I wrote out some of the sentences to kind of see how I liked it. For this one, for the spacing as well, I was only using one box per letter, and that's just so that I can really see all of the letters spread out to decide whether or not I like them. You'll notice in a couple of these, I'm like fighting my instincts. I've been doing A's like this for so long now that to try to add the little like upper tail or whatever it is, I conscientiously have to keep going and be like, oh fuck, wrong kind of A. Do it properly. So anyway, it was kind of fun. It was kind of fun for me to actually have to like slow down and be very intentional with it. And I think I keep saying this, but like one of my goals for the end of this year and a lot more for 2025 is to just be more intentional with stuff. So I think that this was like a really good accidental way to do that. So the next one was the Donau. Like I said, I love this. This is, oh, I love this one. There's just something about it that sings to my soul. So again, using the Pigma Micron. So I wrote down whatever pen I was using, the actual like name of the font, and then the alphabet. And again, this one, I didn't space it out as much just because they're like more narrow letters. So I did the whole alphabet, I did all the numbers, and then I practiced each one of the pangrams on there to see what it looked like. I ended up coming back to this one later on just because I liked it so much, and I decided this was the kind of like funky uppercase one that I want to learn and use in all of my planners and my journals and my writing. So yeah, I did the pangrams for that one. This one, again, Pigma Micron 1 is the pen that I used right off the bat for most of them, and it's because that's my favorite size and my favorite pen right now, to be honest. So the Tabera round, like I mentioned this already, I love how round it is. I love the Q on this one. I just like how the writing is. You'll see here, I like literally got scared by an alarm on my phone, so I started writing it out, and then I had to write my alarm alarmed me. LOL. But yeah, I really liked this one overall. It felt a little more natural, and I think that was something else I was trying to do with like printing off a bunch of different fonts and trying them, was what one I would be able to adopt the most like naturally. So this one, Pigma Micron, I lied. That wasn't the Pigma Micron. I think I just got so used to writing Pigma Micron. This was not. This is with the Tombow. I hope I wrote that properly on the next one. Nope, I wrote Pigma Micron the whole way. Oh my goodness gracious. Kevy baby. Okay, well, as you can see on this page is the Tombow Fudenosuke. Oh my god. Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip. The Tombow hard tip. Ignore that, it was not the Pigma Micron, but this is that Catchy Major, Major. I don't know how to fucking pronounce that, whatever. The Catchy Major, I think this one is actually kind of a funky one to do with the brush pen. So I might come back to this one eventually too for like day-to-day stuff, maybe not so much, but I might try this one again. Like I found the O to be really interesting because the O has like a little dot in the center of it. Again, this one had that really funky G that I'm in love with now. Yeah, I like the style of this one. So this one was very cool. This one I will definitely do with my brush pen again. Same thing, did the whole alphabet with the upper and lower, I did the numbers, and then I did each one of the pangrams. And what I started doing was going back and forth. I would do one lowercase and then one uppercase, just so that I got used to kind of bouncing back and forth between uppers and lowers. Pangram, my third fave of those like rounded ones. Again, it's got that G that I'm obsessed with. I like how round this lettering is. I'm enjoying like the numbers, the way the numbers are written out. And again, I liked writing out the pangrams and the way that they all kind of looked. So that one was another win. Again, not the Pigma Micron, it's the Tombow. But this is the Mac. So this is another one of those like funky ones that I think looks really cool with a brush pen. And I will come back and try to learn this one kind of later on, or maybe I'll periodically like come and reference this and then use it in my book. I'll show you what I have in my head in a minute. Anyway, if you're still here. So what I ended up doing was, after I got all those out, and again, I kind of saw what I liked, what I didn't like about them in the book, I decided I wanted to combine the Sego and the Tabera round and the pangram. So I wrote basically, again, the whole alphabet out with upper and lower, but any that looked similar to me, I just left as like the one kind of in the middle happy medium. And then I wrote out the letters that were super different so that I could see the different combinations and then see what one I liked best. So like this one had different upper and lowercase a. So one was like very square, one was kind of rounded. One of them has like just that little a, the other one has that like topper on it. G, same thing, different style for G, for the upper across the board and the lower. The M's were different, Q's were different, the U's were different, the W and the Y. And then with these ones, the 1, the 3, and the 8 were different, or different enough, and the 0. So I wrote those out, and then I just started writing more of these sentences and trying each one of those in like a different combination. So Sphinx of Black Quartz, Judge, my vow. So I did that one with like the A that I'm used to doing. New kind of Q period. I've never done just like a straight line down, and every single one of the fonts that I chose, go figure, has the Q like that. So different G. I really love this little roundy one. And then the different Y. And so this were like having these, the pangrams, doing the upper and the lowercase ended up working out really, really well for me, because then I could try each single, like each one of the different sentences with different combinations to see what I liked. So yeah. The different G's in there. I started practicing my name to kind of see what A's and what M's I would like better. So yeah, just over and over and over, basically like playing with it to see what I liked. Then I decided to do the alphabet of kind of like the final that I decided on in the Pigma Micron 3. So I wanted to see how the lettering would look in different like thicknesses as well. So that was what I decided on. This is my new font in the Pigma Micron 3. I did it in the Pentel RSVP, the BK90 Fine, which we all know is one of my like old school cheapy favorites. It's the one that I seem to like my writing the best in certain notebooks. And I think everybody, like especially anybody coming here and watching these kinds of videos, I think we all have different pens that we like for different kinds of papers. And that's not something that I really super duper understood like growing up, but the older I get and the more I do this stuff and the more, again, I'm like more intentional about it and I take time to sit and actually enjoy these things, the more I realize that certain books I'm going to want to have different, like certain pens. So I don't think it's a bad thing to have a collection, just saying. So anyway, that was it in the Pentel RSVP BK90. Then I did it in the Staedtler Tri Plus Fine Liner, again, upper and lower, and that's what I was doing for these two. So for any of them that have for all of the fonts that have like an upper and a lower, everything I wrote out, I did in all caps, and then also all in small. So same thing for that one. So the hard tip, the Tombow, this was me practicing even doing that font in that, which actually I liked the look of too. It turned out really, really well. So I really like that font. I'm assuming you can probably hear the neighbors going by. That little girl has the cutest little laugh. Anyways, it's like end of school time, so we shouldn't be surprised. At least Buddy hasn't started stomping above us. So anyway, this is the writing with a Tombow, the like brush pen that I really, really like. I think I showed this in one of my videos too. Like I got I got 2 different kinds of brush pens to try to see what ones I like best. The Tombow hard tip for sure. That's my fave. That's what works best with my writing, I've discovered. Then I decided again on the Dono for my uppercase, my kind of like fun headings and that kind of thing. Again, this is like inspiration that I got. I will try to remember to add in like a screenshot here of the account that specifically like inspired me to have a very cool like header uppercase font and then do like the normal lowercase for like the body and everything else. But I love, oh my God, I'm just obsessed. I just love the alphabet. I love the alphabet. I love the numbers. I really, really like that font. I liked it with the Tombow as well. So again, same thing. I just used the different size pens to see what I liked best. Oh yeah, so I did have like a random check-ins here and there. So, oh yeah. Okay, so just so everybody's aware, if I get kind of sporadic with my posting, it's because most of what I like to post on here is stuff that I would want to watch from other people or things that I genuinely care about. And so while yes, like in some ways channels are for your audience, I find the content that resonates the most with me is stuff that the people who are doing it care about. Do you know what I mean? So like, I would rather people come on and be themselves. Like, those are the accounts that I gravitate towards, instead of people that are going on and doing what they think everybody wants to see. So anyway, I had a crappy day, and then one of the issues was like going on my YouTube studio, where you can kind of see metrics, so like your dashboard of your account, and then like your likes versus dislikes and blah blah blah. And I think it really messed with my head for a second. I have a couple of videos where people are just straight up like disliking. So I think it was only like 3 dislikes on one of them. But it was enough that it made me feel kind of bad, because I was like, well, why don't people like this? Like, and if you don't like it, like, why don't you just click off like most people do? Because I don't have a lot of followers. I don't have a lot of people that watch my videos. And like, again, if I'm like not enjoying a video I watch, I personally just click off. I go find something else. I don't do the dislikes just because I'm like an overly empathetic person, and I feel like it doesn't really do any service. When you come on here, you're going to find stuff you like, and the stuff that you like isn't going to be the same stuff that the person sitting next to you is going to like, right? Like, we all have different likes and dislikes. So anyway, I really got in my head about the couple videos where people were straight up like disliking. So I super appreciate every thumbs up. I mean, I don't love the dislikes. I don't think that anybody who does these videos likes the dislikes. But it was like a good little reminder to me of like, why did that bother me so much? Like, why do I care whether people don't like my stuff? And realistically, I took it personally, and it's not supposed to be personal. So even though this is like a very small account and it's for my own stuff that I'm like sharing for inspiration, how it's received isn't like, it's out of my responsibility at that point. The best that I can do is show up as me and try to provide value and like leave the world a better place than I found it. But I can't control how people are going to perceive me, basically. So I just had to remind myself, like, not everybody thinks the same way I do. Not everybody likes the same things that I do. And that's just kind of how it goes. So it was just, yeah, again, a good little reminder for me that not everybody is going to like the stuff that I put out, and that is okay. And some people like to tell you that they don't like it, and that is also okay. The double-edged sword of putting stuff on the internet is that you can't really be mad when people have comments about it. That's how social media works. Anyway, we'll get away from that whole side of it. So the next thing that I decided I wanted to do, and this is where I'm going to kind of tie them all together. So I will show you where I was like practicing. I'll show you where I continued to practice for like pages and pages and pages, because I was just so obsessed. Oopsie doodles. I'm just so obsessed with both of those. And then I started practicing again, more like brush stuff. So what I decided let's go this way. So as you can see, I started putting some stuff in. I've got some stickers that I'm going to put in there. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with the weekly. I did have one person comment that this little green weekly is actually her favorite out of all of the Hobonichi stuff. So it gives me faith. When people like leave comments like that and they're like, oh no, I absolutely love that one, it gives me faith that I'm going to find a purpose for these things that initially kind of like overwhelm me. So anyway, got that a little bit set up. I wanted to add a cover. We know me here. I love sparkly anything. I love sparkles. I love holographics. I don't like plain for pretty much anything. That's just not my personality. And I find if something is more like aesthetically appealing to me, then there's a better chance that I'm going to want to pick it up. I'm going to want to use it. So I right away was just like, cool, I need to make a cover for this. Like, I need my little cutesy pie Hobonichi to have a cover. So being a millwright and working in like precise tolerances, this is again how my brain goes. I'm like, all right, well, we're not just slapping one down all willy-nilly. Like, I need to measure it. It needs to fit properly. So I like literally got measurements of, I did the length, I did the width, I did that for the front, the back, and the spine. And I had this like, you can kind of see it as soon as I put the holographic on, obviously. It kind of like detracts from whatever else, or like eclipses whatever's underneath it. But at that angle right there, I think you can see it. So this was paper that I actually used alcohol ink on, not last year, but maybe the year before, for like Christmas tags. And I just had this little bit of like scrap left over. I didn't know what to do with it. So I just kind of set it aside, and I decided I loved it enough to put it towards this cause. So I wrote like life book, which you can't really, yeah, you can't really see, but anyway, I wrote like life book 2025 because I wasn't sure what to put for the title, but I like mapped it out. I used washi tape, and that's what I started doing originally. I didn't have any intention of making it sparkly and holographic. I just had that paper down, and then I found this like pretty matching washi tape, and that I just wanted to have that. I wanted to have that piece on the cover, covered up. I just wanted to do the spine and washi because I felt like that made the most sense to me. And then same thing for the back. And then I also have one of my favorite stickers is You Should See Me in a Crown. Fun side note, that's actually my all-time favorite Billie Eilish song too. That's the song that made me fall in love with Billie Eilish. So anyway, that's one of my favorite stickers. I figured I would like put that one on the back too. I had kind of awkward sizes left of like the cuts from that like alcohol ink stained paper. So basically I just had to rig it up. I rigged it up. I put the little pieces on. I used the sticker to cover up some of that like blank space because I don't like blank space. But then I realized like the washi tape is good to a certain extent, but it's going to peel up, and like the book is going to get battered. So like it's going to keep coming up. The washi tape's going to come up. It's not going to last forever, especially on the spine if I don't have some kind of covering. So that's when I decided not to use the plain clear one like we've learned in previous videos that I should have done. I decided to go balls out and do like the pretty fun sparkly one. So I had to take measurements of like what I needed to cover for the front, the middle, and the back. And then I literally made a template. So much effort to make my own cover. It was very satisfying. So this is actually the sticky paper that holographic one came on. So then I measured it out. I straight up like literally measured and drew out what's the back going to be, and then I added an allowance to be able to like fold it over or to cover up the washi tape. And that's where some of those measurements came from too, like why they look different for the like the front and the back is the washi tape came up way farther in the front than it did on the back. So anyway, in my mind it mattered. In my mind, they couldn't have both been like the same. They had to go off of whatever. So I drew out the back. I did the spine right into the measurements. My brother's a carpenter. I used the carpenter rule. I measured twice so that I would only have to cut once. And again, because this is like a weird size, I just didn't want to have to fuck around with it. And then I did it for the front. And then honestly, the hardest part was just making sure that everything actually stuck where I wanted it to. So I held on to this just to kind of show you guys like the level of effort that went into what probably looks like a very dinky cover to everybody else. I love it just because it's sparkly, it's pretty. I know the story behind it, and it's kind of like unassuming since you can't really see what's written on it. But I made a template with the measurements. It's kind of nice too because if I get another one of these like A6s in the future, then I also have the template already ready to go for like whatever cover I would want to have if I want it all to be one. So that's where we are with that. This will all tie together. I promise you, it all comes in together. I'm bouncing around. It will tie in. The other thing I did was get some tabs. I think I showed you guys that in the last video as well. I put those tabs in. I really like those little clear tabs. They were a little bit harder to put together than I expected. But yeah, really, really like those. So I'm pumped that I'm just going to be able to instantly like go through and find my page. So then I was trying to decide, since it's not a lot of space, like how do I want to lay out my pages? And I also got this little cutie pie. This was the freebie that came with the Hobonichis for this year, which I love. But I was like, oh, what am I going to use the book for? So the first thing I did, again, I haven't edited this video yet, so I haven't put it up, but I started testing the inks that I got from my fountain pens. And like you can see some of the sparkles on those. They're very pretty. I will try to get that edited and put up. It's a fucking long one though. So anyway, that's what I did with the first page of that. Cause I was like, oh, I want to see what my fountain pens and the inks are going to look like in the Hobonichi. But then I decided, well, why don't I start practicing? Like how I want my layouts to be. I wanted to start practicing, kind of like writing out bits and pieces in here and like practice stuff that I'm going to want to pull into here, but I decided to do actual like mock-ups of each day. So I think that the things that I want to do, I want to have the temperature and what the actual weather is, and then I also want to do my mood. So like what was my overall like mood for the day. To practice my brush pen, my calligraphy in that way, I am going to choose one word to describe the day, and I might actually take whatever that word is and put it in my monthly. Like I might write out if the word of the day was delectable because I had the best meals of my life and food was just perfect, then like on January 3rd, I could go in and write out that word. And so that'd be another way for me to practice my writing, to kind of have like an overview of what the day was at a glance. I think that'll be kind of cool. So I might try that I'll try that for January anyway and see how it looks, see if I like that. But yeah, so I'm going to do a word to describe the day. And again, I kind of like, I've been writing notes to myself, so like practice calligraphy or fonts, brush lettering, choose one word to describe the day overall. I love that some people have these like random bits of washi tape, or they've got stickers, they've got ephemera that's like just stuck in and then they kind of write around it. I love that. So if I ever get my subscription kits in the mail from Planners Anonymous, I'm waiting for August's. We're in October. Like I've already paid for November's kind of thing. If I ever get those, I'm going to start like randomly for each month. I'm just going to stick stickers in. They're not going to be very big stickers usually. Or if I know I have something like upcoming, I can put in a sticker. I've also, side note, I also signed up for the subscription to Hubman and Chub Girl. Okay. So I signed up for Hubman and Chub Girl. They are adorable. I love their stickers. I really like the Coffee Monsters Co. as well, but everything that I wanted was sold out when I went on her site. So, and she doesn't have any like spots for subscriptions. So these guys have a bunch of like really cute stickers, kind of like standalone ones. But then I got an email saying that they had some new spots open up for their subscriptions. So I instantly jumped on that. So I have the sticker subscription coming, and then I ordered a bunch of other stickers with them. So I think I'll probably stick some of their random ones in here too. I'm super, super pumped about that. Hubman Chub Girl. Hubman and Chub Girl. Hubman Chub Girl. I'm probably going to fuck that up again. Let's be serious. But Hubman and Chub Girl, I'm very excited about them. They are in Toronto as well, so it should be quick and painless for shipping compared to some of the other ones. So yeah, I'm going to stick a sticker, washi tape, or whatever to kind of break it up and create spaces. I wanted to keep looking at inspiring accounts for layout ideas, play around and find different personal styles. So what I started doing in here too is like, again, trying different, this was before I decided to change up my fonts completely. But I wanted to try out different pens. I wanted to try out like doing cursive, doing regular, just like block printing, doing caps kind of thing, using different thicknesses. So yeah, I just started making notes. Like I should make sure I'm capturing moods as well as accomplishments. I could practice using different fonts for different aspects so they're kind of organized and easy to spot and decipher. I should also have a rule not to miss more than one day. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That really should be for exercise, eating well, and meditation. I really do need to I think that's going to go to my like 2025 goals is never miss more than one day on anything that's important to me. But I thought, yeah, so that's where I started adding in like, oh, I should put in a mood. And then I already knew that I wanted to like have a word to describe the day, but I think accomplishments, like writing my accomplishments down is another big one too. I'm really, really bad about that. That's something that I've been working on with my current therapist for a while now. And it's probably the hardest thing for me to try to fix. I'm very type A and I'm very goal-oriented. I also use like work as a coping mechanism for like grief or upset or anything like that. I just kind of throw myself into work. And so one of my problems is that when I achieve a goal, I don't spend time to just sit and be like, wow, cool, that was done. Like reflect on it, kind of just like sit in the moment and enjoy it. I'm already looking at the next thing and being like, okay, well, why didn't I get this started yet? Like I don't take time to appreciate my small wins, my big wins, any of them. I'm always striving and working on the next thing. So that's where I think that maybe writing down some of my accomplishments in here will be a good reminder and a good way for me to get into the habit of just stopping and celebrating. And even if it's something as simple as like, I went outside today. I struggle with that because I don't like the neighborhood I live in. I just don't like it. So like maybe that is an accomplishment. Side note, that's actually one of the stickers that I got from Hubman and Chub Girl. They have these like little self-care ones. I'm going to plug a picture of it in here somewhere so you can see it. But one of them literally is like, I went outside today. I think that I can use a sticker for my accomplishments. I will put that one down. So anyway, if you're looking for some like inspiration or things you could do, that's why I am going on and on and on about this. So yeah, I could use the weekly Hobonichi for tarot pulls. Oh yeah, and add a quick note of the cards pulled and maybe capture overall vibes. So when I go back to work, my personal planner kind of turns into like, it becomes like a barren wasteland because I'm not really doing personal stuff at work. It's 12-hour days. I have very little time to myself. I like my job and like the work schedule that I have because I can give myself fully to my job for 21 days straight. That's all I really worry about. That's where all my energy goes. And then for the following 21 days, I can just put my energy into me. So my personal planner, I'm going to, again, it's not going to get much love when I'm at work, but what I am going to keep up with is before bed. So probably like even before I write my Hobonichi or whatever, I'm going to do my daily gratitude. We know I love that in my personal planner. So I'm going to do the 3 things that I'm grateful for. If I have anything that I need to do, like if I know, oh, I need to book a teeth cleaning for when I go home, like I can write that on my personal one. But then I also usually bring up like a tarot deck and an oracle deck because I've been getting into tarot the last couple years. It's a good way for me to practice. And it's just kind of, sometimes it's just a good prompt for like reflections. Let me know down below if you do the same thing or if you agree, if you're like into the tarot or anything like that. But yeah, I do end up like logging that in my personal planner. So then I was thinking, oh, cool. I could always like pull that in here depending on the day or what it is. And then for the weekly, yeah, that's what it was. Cause then I was thinking, oh, well, I don't know like what on earth I'm going to do with this, but like maybe for the weekly, maybe this is where I put my little tarot cards. Like I could put I could record them in here too. So anyway, that was what that thought was. This is why I'm trying to like dump stuff in here too, so that I can come back here to look and be like, oh yeah, I want to try that. So anyway, looking forward to practicing calligraphy and learning new fonts, capturing memories. So it will be cool to look back at. So again, this is where I was practicing some more writing. I was practicing with my like fountain pen inks. Yeah, I'm obsessed with some of those, man. Those are gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And since you guys are here on, obviously everybody here, like, I shouldn't say everybody, most of us like the same kind of things. And so where I'm like I've always loved calligraphy and writing and stuff like that. But I've been getting super into the calligraphy, as I've shown you. When I was in Calgary a few weeks ago visiting my family, my aunt gave me a box of letters from my grandparents, like back and forth to each other during the like World War II. And so I got to like sift through them and organize them. Again, I'm an organizer by fucking nature. So I like organized them by date for the year. And then I did like chronological order for the month and stuff. But the thing that I loved, obviously, other than getting to see a side of my grandparents that I never got to know, like I didn't know them as individuals. I've only ever known them as like my grandparents, my father's parents kind of thing. So it was very cool and very like humbling to be able to see those different sides of them and from when they were so young. But also the writing. Oh my God, what a dying art calligraphy is. What a dying art. So I'm gonna put in a picture. I even had to like take a picture of, because my grandmother's always had beautiful writing. Like she was a teacher, she was an artist, beautiful writing. I didn't realize how gorgeous my grandfather's writing was. And again, he was English. But I think that everybody kind of in that day and age, like everybody learned how to do proper writing. So I'm going to put in a picture here, maybe right here, of his writing on the envelope to my grandmother. And again, everything comes very like full circle, but I was like, oh my God, I'm like trying to learn proper calligraphy and like brush lettering. And I've been thinking about learning new fonts myself. Like it was just very serendipitous. So I did try to like practice some of like my grandmother's writing. She had the most beautiful block writing. And I think that that's where I very much was like gravitating towards the round writing. It reminds me of hers. But anyway, so we ramble here. So yeah, I keep practicing. So I'm like writing, okay, what's the temperature? What was my mood for the day? What was the word of the day? Literally Sunday was a perfect day. And don't worry about the dates there either. I literally did like random day in January, random day in February, random day in March, April, May, whatever. It's not actually February 26th, but that's my birthday. So I think that's why that February date instantly came to mind. But then the other thing that I wanted to do, so I keep getting these like ideas of what I can put in my journal, and like, if you haven't noticed, we have the gift of gab here. I don't think that actually coming up with writing is going to be an issue at this point. But I would like to put some, I think Helen from Coffee Monsters Co., she actually provides like a bunch of journal prompts. And so I've noticed in a lot of her videos, since again, I've been like binge watching everybody's stuff on here. She will write in a prompt periodically so that it gives her like a reminder or something to write about. And so I was thinking, when I was doing my latest Headspace course the other night before bed, it is a sports motivation one, because now that I'm like cleared for exercise and stuff, I'm having a really hard time convincing myself to get back into the gym. And anybody who's on here, like, you know, if you fall off the bandwagon, it's very hard to get back on, regardless of how good for you it is and how good you feel when you're back at it. So anyway, I've been listening to this like Headspace course for sports motivation, just to kind of like get me to tie back into why I love the things that I love and like get back into it. And the very first question that he like had us meditate on, or like ask ourselves, was, what is the most important thing to you right now? And I like instantly love that, because I'm like, oh, you know what? There's so many things. Like, I'm always picking away at different things. I have different like financial goals that I'm working on at the same time as my health goals, at the same time as my creative goals, at the same, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm such a little busy bee and I'm a multitasker that it was really interesting for me to have to sit down and be like, well, okay, but you can't have 6 most important things. Like, it's what is the most important thing. And so I thought that that would be really cool, again, to just like, I'm going to put random questions in random spaces throughout here, but I think that that'll be a really cool one to write on. So I decided to practice that out. I practiced it with my writing. I practiced using those gorgeous highlighters, which I've shown in a previous video. These, oh my God, the Zebra Midliner Mix. So I think when I did my original like swatches with them, I was just like, well, they're not very ombre. They don't like, they're very blocky, like one and the other. No, that was just for the very first use. Like, I guess I could zoom in when I'm editing, but this is just easier. But if you look at that, like, oh my God, the ombre is, it's literally perfect. So I take back any bad thing that I said in that previous video. I'm obsessed with these. I need all the colors. If you are into highlighters the way that I am, oh man, oh man, oh man, give them the old college try. You will not be disappointed. They're so pretty. But then I was thinking, oh, I can use those to highlight like the prompts that I have, or like the questions that I have kind of randomly set up. So I practiced that out, and I kind of practiced like writing around it with so like setting up journal prompts or good focus questions on random pages that'll break them up, as well as to help practice fonts. So it will be a good way for me to like practice my writing as I go. And then I said I'd also like to add in good characteristics and traits. Oh yeah, so again, random. This is my life and how my brain works. Many years ago, I did that like 16personalities.com quiz for your personality type. And so I was an ENFJT all those years ago. And it's like sitting in the bottom of my inbox still in my email. And I think I like came across it the other day when I was trying to like clean up my emails. And I was like, you know what? I should take that personality test again and see where I land now. Because again, you're never the same person. I don't think you're the same person 2 years in a row, let alone like 5 years or 10 years. So I decided to redo my, like that little freebie test on there. And funnily enough, I came up again as an ENFJ, but I was an A this time. So that's like a huge win for me too. I'll get over, like, it all ties in, I promise, it all ties in. I'll get into that over here more, like when I show you my practice stuff. But then I was thinking, like, you know what, they give you lots of like really good examples of like the traits that come along with your personality type. And I saw some people complaining, saying like, it's not accurate. Well, then you probably didn't answer it, honestly, like respectfully. Everything was bang on for me. And I think both times that I did it, I answered very honestly, because for those things, like any test like that, you're only cheating yourself. And I mean, I'm like honest to a fault, I'm loyal to a fault with stuff to begin with, but especially for shit like that, like I don't see the point in like embellishing or bullshitting, or like, it's not who you want to be, it's who you are. And like, if you're taking those tests, it's probably because you're genuinely curious. So anyway, I answered very honestly, as I always do. It was just kind of cool to see that I still have those, like that same core personality. My personality hasn't changed, which I think is a good thing. It's been a rough fucking several years, fam. But it was really cool to see that my core personality was the same, but then my identity, which is like assertive versus turbulent. So if you're an ENFJT, you're an ENFJ turbulent, and then this one was like ENFJA, so I'm assertive, and that's something I've been working on really, really hard in therapy the last couple of years as well, is becoming more assertive. So I was pumped about that, and then I was just like, you know what, it would be kind of cool if I wrote out these like characteristics and traits, and then it like got me thinking too, like I've had some compliments over the years that have really, really like stuck with me, and I think that it'd be kind of nice to have those like written in randomly too, so like nice things that people say to me, or nice things that people have said to me, and because I think everybody can use a little pick-me-up. Even if you're having a really good day, it can only get better if you read something really nice about yourself, right? So I think it's going to be kind of cool for me to have these like scattered, like good personality traits and things that I think are very cool, and then these like compliments that just make me feel good, kind of randomly sprinkled without. I'm currently working on confidence, and I think that this is something that will help with that. So I wrote down that little note. And then I decided I can kind of change colors if I'm changing what I want to talk about, if I'm not going to like have different paragraphs, which, judging from the amount of space I actually have, I'm probably not going to do different paragraphs. I'm probably going to do what a lot of people do, and is just write straight across. And so I'm thinking maybe I will change up colors if I'm like changing topic. It's in there basically. Yeah. I'm very excited. I'm super, super excited, like to get into it and actually start doing it, start logging stuff, right? So then I decided I was going to practice in here, and I wanted to have it like written somewhere outside of this, because again, this can very much so get lost. This was me just like randomly trying fonts in my big old like journal that I'm not actually using. So I decided that I was going to write out the Dono, which is the uppercase one that I love. I decided I'd write it out in this little book, because I'm going to have this handy so that I can kind of reference it when I need to. And then same with my like regular everyday font. I wanted to have that written out, and then I decided to do some of those pangrams on there too. So again, just to have them in that one space where I'm like referencing everything. And then, hello. Okay, and then this was last night. So this is again me, like, I'm just trying to practice to see what kind of layouts I like. I'm going to keep going with that. I'm probably going to do this realistically till like the end of the year. So yeah, had the date. I wrote in my new font, the temperature, what the mood was, what the word of the day was. And again, it was practice, because I literally spent most of my day yesterday like learning these new fonts and then practicing them over and over and over again. So I wrote out one of the personality traits. Along here, I used those really cool highlighters again. I'm just trying like different placements for the words and stuff just to kind of see. So yeah, I did some practice on that. I practiced using the different colors to see what they looked like with the new fonts. So now we're going to bounce back where this all, again, it all kind of ties in. So I continued to do my practice using everything from that site. So hold on. I think I still have it open. I do. Okay. I could probably just do like a screen share so you don't have to see the whole camera thing, but whatever, here we are. Okay, so this is what it looks like if you've never done one. It just kind of tells you like what are your personality traits. Then it gets into like your career, your influential traits. I did pay the $9 for like the extended one because I think that was very cool. It tells you your strengths and then your weaknesses within each different like aspect. So I thought, again, it would be kind of a really, really good way for me to practice and also get like very familiar with my results by writing them out in here. So I just started writing. My energy, 67% extroverted, my mind, 53% intuitive, feeling nature, I'm judging versus whatever the other one is. Like, it was kind of cool for me to, again, like write out what are my ideal like environments. what are my traits, like what are my strengths, what are my weaknesses, and to see them in like the different writing, just to practice, practice, practice. And I did that for every single section because I thought it would be kind of good to bounce back and forth between those styles to just get really, really comfortable with them and kind of continue to tweak them. So I did, yeah, again, did the personality traits, literally like replicated, but with the two different fonts. And then every time I messed up one of the letters that I'm trying to like learn how to do a new style of, I crossed it out and I rewrote it. So yeah, I did each different section. I ended up just doing like the strengths, weaknesses, the fears and motivators, learning styles, relationship patterns, things like that. And again, it's just so, it was so bang on. It was so bang on. Very, very cool. Yeah, and I'm struggling with my G's. I love that funky little G, but I'm having a hard time getting used to that. As you can see, yeah, it's just very cool. So I decided to write those out. And then for the final little bit of practicing those, instead of having my like weaknesses listed as well, because I obviously know that I have to work on my weaknesses, but that's not going to help me feel super good if I'm like randomly opening up a page here. So I wrote out all of like the positives, all of the strengths basically, so that these are like, I can come in here and then just open up random pages and write them on random pages. So this is all of the good things about me written in both of the fonts. I thought that was very fun. And then I decided to, again, just keep practicing. I want to practice my brush lettering. And then this is this current style that I've kind of like landed on. And it's, again, conglomeration between my normal cursive style and then some of the stuff out of that calligraphy book. I just kind of mash the stuff I like together. So I wanted to start practicing more of that, and like practicing, they've got the conservative, the moderate, and the liberal for like offset for your letters and like the funky placement. So I'm practicing just the conservative to start so that I can get very like used to writing. But yeah, I wanted to practice those. I wanted to practice the pangrams with the Tombow hard tip in the actual like brush lettering font. And yeah, we're a little ahead of schedule here. As you can see, this is taken up to the weekend. But yeah, so that's where I'm at right now for my Hobonichi. This is what we're working on. I'm really, really excited. I'm loving the new font. I can practice that when I'm at work as well. Yeah, it's all good stuff, man. It's all good stuff. I really like my cover. Now that the effort has been put to good use. Oh my God, that was so much work, but it was so funny. And again, now I have a template for like future reference, but I might use the Cricut and like write out a new title page for that, or I might just leave it, to be honest. I don't know. She's still very naked. I haven't started actually plugging stuff in, but that's because I've been practicing in both the old cousins and then this fun little notebook, and I'm going to keep going with it. But I will show you guys by the end of the year when I actually do have everything kind of put in. But I'm so excited about it. I'm having so much fun with this. So yeah, my suggestion, again, if you're somebody that loves those like very aesthetic, appealing like Instagram accounts with the writing and the calligraphy, print off some fonts, find some fonts that you like, print them off and practice, 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 man. I think that's the only way that I'm going to get really good at doing the new font and then like making it become second nature. But then I've got a bunch of like cool ones that I can look back on if I want to try different stuff. Like again, I think that one's very funky. What did we say that one was? Reborn. Like that one's cool. I think that would be cool to write in random stuff as well. So if you are still here, thank you so much for your time today. Yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know if you found anything kind of inspiring, if there's anything that I'm trying to do that maybe you want to do too, or if there's stuff that I could do that kind of like seems on brand. Let me know that too. I love the suggestions that I get from people. I'm really liking the comments and like engagement. Also, side note, I got the sweetest compliment about my hands and nails on my last video. It was like literally made my day. It was so nice. And then my nails broke literally the next day. Go fucking figure. So I do have decent nails usually. They break really easily though. That's my problem. And my hands have been very like dry with the back and forth from out west and then all of the things. So yeah, my nails like flaked and cracked and broke off. So now they're just little nubbies, but probably within like 2 weeks they'll be back to grown up. So just thank you so much for the very sweet comments. And I think like one of her comment was that I could be a hand model. If y'all know anybody who's hiring for that, for like side business, let me know, because it could help pay for the stationery. How fun. Thank you so much for your time today. If you like this, give us a like, subscribe if you haven't already. You can hit that notification bell. It'll let you know every time a new video does come up. I'm very appreciative of all of the subscriptions as well. We just have such a like dope little community. And even if you don't like my videos and you do dislike them, I still hope that maybe you got something out of them. That's the whole purpose, is me like sharing my love of these things. We don't all have to like the same things. It's fine. I hope you have an awesome week already. I hope you have a great rest of the week ahead of you, and I hopefully will see you in the next one. Bye.